Hi guys, today we are visiting one of the most amazing and mysterious places in Laos. Those that you see behind me are not just big rocks, but actually they are megalithic jars. Indeed, today we are visiting the Plain of Jars. Plain of Jars is a World UNESCO Heritage Site in Laos, specifically in the Xieng Khouang province. The one we are visiting now is just one of the more than 90 sites scattered in this province. Each site has in between 1 and 400 jars. It means that in the whole province there are thousands of these megalithic marvels. So at a certain point in history, between 500 BC and 500 AD, a population decided that it was very important to bring here huge jars for some reasons. Who made them? Why? When? We don't know much about it, but we'll try to know more about it. Just 15 minutes away from Pont Savan, there's the first site of jars, which is the most visited, also the most explored. Now, first of all, something that I want to make it clear is that despite it's called a plain of jars, usually the jars are not present in flat area. They're all on top of hills. So this is a feature that that must to be taken in consideration. And because of that, here we are on top of a hill indeed. During the last war, the Second Indo-Chinese War, this place was strategically important to the control of the area. You can see there's a view of 360 degrees over all the surroundings. And because of that, it was taken as a stronghold, as a position to hold in the during the war. Because of that, it was heavily bombed by the US aircraft. And indeed, the results of those heavy bombs can still be nowadays. Behind me, there's a huge bomb crater that was made in the war between 1964 and 1973. And as a consequence of these bombs, also many jars have been destroyed. Indeed, and that's why, unfortunately, many are in pieces. An evidence of the harsh past of this place are these. These are former trenches dug during the war to control the area from this hill. And that's why this place was bombed.
I don't know if it's clear enough how big is, the craters of the bombs.
I'll show you how big it is.
Yep.
That's how big it was. Who made them? Well, nobody really knows, because nobody is here to tell us, right? Who made you? Who made you? Nobody knows. We can just assume they were ancestors of the Khouang people, those who established the kingdom of Xieng Khouang. But that's just an assumption. When were the jars made? Still unclear. What we assumed is that they were made between the 500 BC and the 500 AD, so in the Iron Age. Indeed, they were probably carved with iron tools. Now, why were they made? Nobody really knows either. But probably this was a burial site. Well, the things are a bit complex because it's not that they put the bodies inside the jars or the jars were on top like graves. But this is a secondary burial. This means that this was a process divided in two sections. So before they used to take the skeleton and put them in the jars until the flesh decomposed, and then the bones were taken and put in the ground. After that, they would use circle stones like these, which is not a lid. It's like parentheses. The jars didn't have lids, or at least they probably had lids, but they were made of perishable material. That's why we didn't find any. These big discs actually were on the ground, were put on the ground upside down. There are circular decorations, but these were in the ground. And these were actually the graves. They were on top of the burial site. And this was what we assume they were buried, because we don't really know.
This jar. Okay.
I don't know เข้าใจ
Okay, good try.
Among thousands of jars, this is unique. This is because it's the only jar with a decoration or with some kind of carvings on it. Indeed, this is so-called a frogman. There's a kind of human figure with his hands up, he rose his hands and bended legs. And this is the only found, at least, jar with a carved figure or some kind of decoration. It's curious that maybe they found something similar in China or in India, but connections are hard to be made.
Monk.
Yeah,
Nice.
monk dress.
So these caves near the plain of jars has two holes on top of it, which have been man-made. But the caves is natural, of course. The fact is that researchers in the 30s proposed that this place was used as a crematorium for the bodies of the jars, and that were eventually put near the jars. Then in more recent times, this place was the shelter of the nearby people for the American bombs. So indeed, that's why you can see how many craters are nearby, because airplanes try to target the whole of the caves to kill those who were inside. Archaeologists found evidences of pottery, small iron objects and bones, which actually sustain the theory that says that this was used as a crematorium. Indeed, the two holes, two man-made holes on the roof of the cave were probably used as chimneys, to leave the smoke going out. And so probably this is the reason why this place has been used for thousands of years. Check it out, come on.
What? Ah,
Looks like he's carrying a baby.
yeah, that's weird. Those are way bigger than the one we saw yesterday.
No. The one on top of the hills are bigger. And see, this is curious because, see, it's carved, the rim is not outside, it's inside. So probably there was a lid here. But it's not these. You see, the one you're standing on is one of those discs that we mentioned yesterday. Oh, check this out, it's pretty big. Check this jar. And the curious thing about the jars is that it's not that they were just carved in the rock here. They were carved somewhere else, many kilometers away, and then carried here. And as you can see, the size is pretty big. So how did they manage to do it? We don't know. Also, the shape is different. There's a different shape because some are circular, like these maybe. That is circular as well. But others are a bit slightly more rectangular. Like this.
Yeah,
Slightly more rectangular.
definitely. Why?
We don't know either. We don't know. excavates a bit here under here, but they didn't find any skeleton here in the site number 2. But they still found some pottery, some other evidences that probably this place was used as a burial site. Check, he's doing the whole.
Ah, yes.
Indeed, they vary a lot in size. Check this out.
Oh wow.
You see
This is really big.
it's more than 2 meters high, and this is
Yeah.
not even the highest. So some are up to 3 meters something high. Some are a bit larger and then a bit wider than higher. And the reason, we don't know either. I think this was made after it, you know.
Yeah. This is very big, huh?
Yeah,
The one.
Wow. Check this out.
Wow, that's very big.
There's another hole which could be homemade, maybe, and so it means that maybe in more recent epochs, probably somebody tried to see what was inside, since they were maybe covered by the soil, you know, they were inside and trying to search something inside, maybe for treasure, you know, so in the search of something precious.
What do you think?
Check this out. Here the tree grew on top of a jar. They
Look.
broke the jar. But even this place was saved by the bombs. There's another huge crater. Same like other places, this place is on top of a hill. Because yeah, as we say, they're known as plains of jar, but there's nothing plain in it. You know, they're always on top of the hill, and they were brought on top of the hills for some reason that we don't know. The jars are these beautiful minimalistic Iron Age megaliths, right? Indeed, rarely we see some decoration somehow. Maybe in the stone circles you can find some. Here is one of the few kind of decoration. It seems like a human figure, maybe,
Yeah, definitely.
in the concentric circles, and more of these stone circles can be found around here. Look at that! Look how big is this one. And you know what I find more fascinating about the civilization who made the jars? Is that these people put a lot of effort in making the jars and take them up to steep hills. But they didn't leave any other evidences. So it shows the importance that these people gives to the afterlife and this burial site compared to the rest of their life. Ready? Turn on body. Clean up jar. 2,
3.
200
200 meter. Okay.
Son kilo.
No,
son
meter.
Okay.
Top tie.
Son sen. A ticket.
ลงไปเลย
Okay.
คันบ่มีผู้ขายสเก็ตแล้วล่ะกลับขึ้นมาละไม้
Bomi?
คันบ่มีคนขายสเก็ตอยู่หั่นน่ะมาให้พี่
Bomi ticket?
เขาลงไปเบิ่งคันเขาขายให้เราน้ำเขาคันเขาบ่ขายแล้วกลับขึ้นมาจ่ายไว้นี่
Bahu. Bahu. Valang bahu.
Okay.
Okay.
Ticket.
Bye.
And,
เบิ่งไป
Eh?
ลงไปโลด
Hey. There are many jars here.
103 in total.
Some are a bit different. Where was it? Ah, here. Some have T-shape, a kind of a oval shape, and differs again from the others. Now, about actual facts, we don't know much, but of course there are local legends. For example, one regarding the victory of a king over an impostor ruler of the Xieng Khouang kingdom, and this was some 1500 years ago, and they say that after the victory of this glorious leader, eventually in order to celebrate, they store rice wine in the jars to ferment, for its celebration. But seems like they celebrated a bit too much. That's fun.
He told us to come this way. Okay, well, it's a nice jar.
Yeah, it's a nice, pretty big.
Yeah.
They left. Okay, fair enough. And indeed, another legend says that, as you can see, they were pretty big, so they were used by giants as cups. Cup for giants to drink, which is the most the most believable,
Yes. To drink what? The Lao
to drink the rice whiskey, yeah, Lao Lao. Okay, so this is the site number 3. Today we visit the second and third site of jars, and our journey is almost finished. This site, which is composed by different groups of jars, is also the place where, not far from here, the jars were made, were carved out of the stones and made, and then transported to the various sites. Now, the site number 1 and the other sites and gates are many kilometers away from here, and one of the many questions that rise at this point are how they managed to bring these huge, heavy jars so far without technological tools. And this also will remain a mystery. Maybe they rolled it. They used to roll them, but some of them are not even. Look at this. This is not even a circular shape. So this is one of the many mysteries that will remain unsolved. And that's it. Fortunately, this is going to rain soon. It's going to be dark, so we better to go. And but let's say goodbye to this amazing place. At this point, just let us know what you think about the planar jars, how these mysteries can be solved, and what are the answers to the many questions that rise about this amazing place. Bye.
Bye.